that's why we're going to... All right, guys, it's your boy Knockout 360, man. You already know what's going down when I come around. Let's get into it, man. I'm not even gonna waste your time. This is the Blackvue DR-900X 2-channel plus dash cam. All right, 4K camera up front and then a 1080p camera in the back. You might actually be able to see it. It is right there. That little black dot right there. That's the 1080p camera. All right. So front view, rear view at all times. I can go into my app right here, and we're going to do that in a minute and show you exactly what I'm talking about. It acts almost like a rear camera. So if you've ever had a Ram 1500, or I think it's even on the Durangos, you can click the rear camera and you can see behind you at all times, even when you're driving. You can't do that with the Chargers and the Challengers, only when you're backing up. But there comes with two modes that are very important. Number one is normal driving mode. Normal driving mode is basically what you're in when the car is started and you're driving it, right? The dash cam is recording at all times. It records 1-minute clips, so 60-second clips in intervals. So clip, 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 clip from the front and the back. So when we get into the app, you're going to see 1 minute for the front and then 1 minute for the back. And those are essentially the same clip. It's just different angles, right? One's from the front, one's from the rear. And then the second mode is parking mode, which comes in handy when you have a external battery, which is the Blackvue Magic Ultra Magic battery B130X, right? I hope I'm saying that correctly. And that's what I've got mounted under the seat. Now, you guys saw the installation process. You know that when the car is off, I'm no longer running on the car battery. I'm running on the Magic battery, okay? So when the car is off and you're running on the Magic battery in parking mode, it will film a time lapse of the entire time that your car is in parking mode. So if it's parked for overnight, it'll film a time lapse. If it's parked for an hour, it'll film a time lapse. If for whatever reason something happens to your car, if it's vibrated, if somebody walks in front of the car or something like that, it's going to give you an event, right? So basically that means something took place that the camera felt the need to record specifically and set aside from the normal footage. Because when you're parking it, it has it in a time lapse. So it's just going to record one long piece of footage, right? But if something happens to your car, if somebody bounces on it, or if somebody bumps into it, or if somebody hits it, it's going to record an event video. And let's talk about that. All right, so here's my setup. We've already talked about this. This is how I have it set up. Currently, it's in parking mode. So one thing I did want to show you guys that was really interesting is that with it being in parking mode, it's extremely sensitive. So I'm going to open my door and I'm going to close it. And now it's recording. Like, it's that simple, or it's that sensitive. So if anything happens to your car, it's going to start recording. So before it started recording that, it was shooting a time lapse. But now that something has happened to the car, it's going to start recording a separate piece of audio and video specifically for what's going on for that particular event. So it's recording up here and it's recording in the rear as well. So if something's happening to the back of your car or to the front, it's going to happen. So after about a minute, that red light is going to go off because it's no longer recording. So right now we are in parking. So let's go to the app. Comes with two apps. The number one app is the Blackvue app, which is going to give you the live view from the front and from the rear camera, right? The live feed. And it's going to let you know all of your camera settings, you know, 4K, 1080p, that whole jazz. The Blackvue battery app is specific for the battery that's under my seat. That's the B130X. You don't need this battery app because it actually comes standard with the normal Blackvue app. But if you want to get into the nitty gritty of it and kind of see exactly what your battery temperature is and all that stuff, how long it's going to take to charge up, you can do it that way as well. So it says connected. It's going to pop up here in a minute, 15%. So my battery's been charged for 15%. And as you see, it says discharging because the car battery's not on. As soon as I turn the car on, it's going to say charging because now it's pulling power from the car itself. But I've got 15% battery. It's got the output, volts, battery capacity, charging time, all that stuff is there. All right. So that's the Blackvue battery app. Let's go into the Blackvue app itself. So here are your options. You can connect the cloud, which is basically if you have a cloud connection service. You can connect the camera, which is what we're going to do here in a minute. Download it videos. So basically any videos that you decided to download that you wanted to keep, you can access them there. Blackvue SIM card. So for you guys that want to connect your camera to some sort of network so that it doesn't need a Wi-Fi, you can actually use a phone network. That's where you would do in there. And then the Blackvue battery. Let's go to connect camera. It's going to pull up your dash cam. That's what I have my dash cam named as, Blackvue 900X plus dash cam. Click on that. So the thing about this dash cam is that it emits its own Wi-Fi. So you have to disconnect from whatever Wi-Fi or whatever network you're on in order to access the dash cam itself. And as you can see up there, it went from LTE and now it's on an actual Wi-Fi network, which is the camera itself. So boom, here's the event. So when I open my door and you saw it recording, parking, impact, event, it separated all that video. So you can open it and look at it.
With it being in parking mode, it's extremely sensitive.
See?
So I'm going to open my door and I'm going to close it.
You heard the sound.
And now it's recording.
That was literally what we just filmed. And then you can go to the rear and look at the rear footage.
So if anything happens to your car, it's going to start recording.
You see what I'm saying? So as you can see here, this is basically how your footage is going to look. Let me make sure I get this in focus here. All of the stuff that's in red is some sort of event or impact that happened to your car. And that's going to be separated in the app itself. Everything else is going to be normal kind of time-lapse stuff. So parking, event. And that's because I closed my door going into the gym. Parking. And then normal. So when you see normal, that's just the normal driving modes and the normal driving clips. But if you hit like a bump or something like that, it's going to say event driving impact. So these were hard accelerations, cornering, hard stops, or me hitting some sort of bump in the road. And that's why it automatically starts as an event, basically separates itself from all the other footage. Now, the great thing about this is that you can change the sensitivity of how sensitive your camera is. If you don't want it that sensitive to where every time you hit a bump or hard accelerate, because for you guys that's driving cars like mine, ScatPack, Hellcat, all we do is hard accelerate and throw on brakes. So maybe you don't want your camera recording every single event every time that happens. In that case, I understand. You can come into the settings. You got basic, you got sensitivity. You can turn the LED off. You can change your Wi-Fi, password, cloud settings, all that. Come up here to sensitivity. Now you've got your sensitivity options that you can change. You got normal mode. I've got normal mode at about half, to be honest with you, 5 out of 10. And then my parking mode, I've got that all the way to the max, just because when my car is parked, I want every single notification known to man. All right, so when you come into this mode, this is going to let you know basically what areas of what axis of the camera you want the camera to record in. So for instance, in the corner here, the middle, and then the right corner, then the rear camera as well. I've got all boxes checked because I want the absolute most sensitivity when my car is parked. All right, so let's get back to the dash cam. Get back into it. Now, right now we're chilling. We're just sitting here in parking mode. So not much is going on. You can go to live view. It's going to give you a front view of what your camera in the front is seeing. And then for you guys that want to run your rear camera at all times so that you can see what the person behind you is doing, there's your rear camera as well. It's got kind of a funky tint to it, and that's just because the sun is hitting my car perfectly at the right angle. You know what I'm saying? So that's that. So right now we're in parking mode. So I just want you to listen and this is going to show you how intuitive this device is, because it's going to automatically switch from parking mode to normal driving mode. All right, so now you see it's recording because it's got some sort of event. The car's been started.
Laser.
Let unit and do what it do.
GPS connected.
An impact was detected during parking mode.
Yep. It said parking mode off and impact was detected during parking mode. So now it's got the GPS light on and it's got the Wi-Fi light on, as well as the record light, you know, red, blue, and white. So it's functioning at this point. So as soon as I move, we're no longer in parking mode. All right. So the rest of this video pretty much, guys, is going to be the quality of the video itself. I've pretty much shown you the hardware and I've shown you the software. For the most part, I'm just trying to get you guys to see that the audio and the video is really clear, and it does record audio as well from the inside. So you might want to be mindful of that. So when you're recording, be mindful of what you're saying, because it can come back to haunt you. But honestly, this is better than my GoPro because, for one, it's always running, and two, it's at a perfect position to see everything in the front in a wide screen view, and then of course the rear camera as well. So I'm going to be showing you both of those. So let's just go ahead and do some driving, man, and I'm going to put some clips in here, and I'll be talking as it's recorded, and I'll use the audio from the dash cam itself to let you know how solid it is. So let's get into it. Look at this car right here. You hear all that? That's why we're going to get chicken wings, and we're just going to do go-kart day. Because this type of stuff gets crazy and dangerous. See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? Hell no. It's time to go.